Hey rock buddies, it's Papa. Hope you guys are doing well. I wish you a happy May and happy rock hunting in May because it's a good month to go rock hunting. It's a very hot day here at the Minimalist Cottage. We got our fans running and our sweat glands are running too. I am getting ready to do a video on the taconic orogeny, the taconic mountain building event, as it applies to the eastern United States from Virginia to Georgia. But first, I thought we should talk about geologic time. So, a geologic time can be very confusing, especially trying to remember the dates, the time spans associated with each geologic period. I'm going to show you an easy way to do it and why this easy way works just fine. So, stay tuned, and if you like this video and it's helpful, please subscribe because it helps me immensely. Excuse me. And thank you to everyone who has already subscribed to the channel. So, geologic time, here we go. Here is a list of the entire span of geologic time. Each one of these headings is a time period. And these are listed from the youngest Tertiary at the top to the oldest pre-Cambrian at the bottom. You can see down toward the bottom the Cambrian period, and you likely know, rock buddies, that this was the Cambrian explosion of life, the time when life just exploded in the ancient warm seas. Before Cambrian, it was, logically enough, pre-Cambrian, and pre-Cambrian period covers all the time before Cambrian all the way to the beginning of the world. So we don't delve very deeply into the pre-Cambrian. After Cambrian comes the Ordovician period, that's named after a Celtic tribe in Europe. Then comes the Silurian period, also named for a Celtic tribe in Europe. Next comes the Devonian period, likely named for Devonshire in England, but I'm not 100% sure about that. After that comes a Mississippian period. That relates to North America, a time when there were seas covering most of the earth. Then the Pennsylvanian period, the great coal, where the great coal measures were formed all over the world. Next comes Permian. Then Triassic, when dinosaur-like creatures first appeared. Then Jurassic, the classic age of the dinosaurs. Cretaceous, which means the age of chalk, because a lot of chalk deposits were made, like the White Cliffs of Dover. And finally, Tertiary, leading up to more modern times. So how are you going to remember all these wacky time periods? Well, most people do it with memory aids or memory mnemonics, where they take the first letter of each period and create a sentence or two based on that. You can go on Google and find a bunch of these mnemonics, but I'm getting ready to show you mine. So here we go with my memory mnemonic. Please come over Saturday, dear Miss Penny. Proudly try juicy cream tarts. Okay, totally weird, but it works for me. Please, for pre-Cambrian, come for Cambrian, over for Ordovician, Saturday for Silurian, dear for Devonian, miss for Mississippian, penny for Pennsylvanian, proudly for Permian, try for Triassic, juicy for Jurassic, creamy for Cretaceous, tea for Tarts. Tertiary. Hey, and if this one doesn't work for you, make up one that does work for you. It's all about being able to remember these periods in order. Okay, so let's say you have been able to remember these geologic time periods in order. The next thing we have to do is deal with the time spans associated with each period. And I've come up with a way that works very well for me, and it's accurate enough, so let's have a look at that. Okay, here is a table that I made that shows some of the geologic periods in the column on the far left. I couldn't get them all in there in this image, so I'm just showing you some, but this is enough for you to get the general idea. For now, don't look at the first column. That's my column. The other three columns represent the time spans for the periods for 3 different authors. And if you look at them, you can see there's variation in them. And the main thing that this tells us is that the length of these time periods is not 100% certain. There's a lot of variability in it depending on which author you read, and also the location on the earth that you look at. So it's not a super specific, super accurate thing like 3 times 4 is 12. Nope. If you try to memorize one particular author's take on these geologic time periods, it could drive you bonkers because they're such, they're not even numbers. And so that's what I have done. I've rounded them off, and I'll show you more about that in just a second. This shows some of the time periods and the time spans that I've come up with. I've rounded them off to make it easier to remember them, and it is quite easy. And I wasn't able to get all of them on this one image, but I'll get the rest of them on the next image. So with this rounding scheme, the pre-Cambrian starts with the beginning of time and ends at the year 550 million years ago. That's when the Cambrian starts, 550 million to 500 million. Then comes the Ordovician, which is 500 million to 450 million years ago. You get the general idea. We're going by 50 million year swatches here. Here are the remainder of the geologic time periods from Mississippian up through Tertiary, and we're using this 50 million year time change, except in 2 instances. You'll notice that the Mississippian period is listed as 350 million years to 330 million years, and the Pennsylvanian period is listed from 330 million years to 300 million years. Now, if you wanted to, you could just clump the Mississippian and Pennsylvanian time into one period, as they do or used to do in Europe, and they call that the Carboniferous period. And in that case, the Carboniferous would have run from 350 million years ago to 300 million years ago. I like to keep them separate because the North American geologists separate them. And then the other glitch is the Tertiary, the Cretaceous, showing that it goes from 150 million years ago to 65 million years ago. That is because at 65 million years ago, they are fairly certain that a giant meteor struck the earth around where the Yucatan Peninsula is now. This giant meteor was called Chicxulub. It caused such devastation worldwide that it ended the era of the dinosaurs and brought in the era of mammals and deciduous forests. Okay, so here's one more helpful aid that might give you a beginning on these time periods that you can keep in your mind. The Ordovician period, which was 500 million years to 450 million years. Ordovician has how many syllables? 5, right. And it starts with an O, like a 0. So you can always remember Ordovician period was 500 million years ago. And then if you have to go work your way, say, to Devonian, you can go Ordovician 500 to 450. Silurian 450 to 400. Devonian 400 to 350. Aha, I got it. When you're reading geology and you read about these great plate tectonic events, and you can, in your mind, without having to go refer to some book or document, you can actually know when these time periods were. And if you keep doing this, you'll get a very good grip on what happened when. So that's helpful. The main thing to remember is that these are approximate times, as they all are. And if you're going to eventually write a paper or give a speech or something, then you should go back to your preferred author and use his exact, quote-unquote, exact geologic times associated with them. Okay, rock buddies, so that's geologic time. I hope this was helpful. If it is, please subscribe. And next video that's going to come up is going to be the Taconic mountain building event. Also, Grammy and I just got back from driving the entire Blue Ridge Parkway and the entire Skyline Drive through Shenandoah National Park park, taking photographs of rocks and studying the geology there. So in a future video, I will be showing you guys some cool rocks from these areas and talking about how they formed and where to find them. So this is Papa wishing all my rock buddies happy rock hunting. Papa out.